So today we're going to talk about accountability and what that might look like for you. For some, it may be in a more structured format. Others, maybe more medium-based structure. And then the third might be like really not any structure at all, but it's coming from within. So in the book, Better Than Before, Gretchen Rubin talks about the 4 tendencies. And what she is referring to, my understanding of what she's referring to, is how we form habits. And there are people that react to accountability in different ways. So some people are more intrinsically motivated. They react to their own rules or their own expectations. Other people go completely against other people's expectations. Those would be the obligers. Some are kind of a mix of the two. They do respond to other people's expectations and their own. And then there are some that really only react to other people's expectations and not their own. So that is kind of where I feel I fall into. So it's an interesting study to know where you belong, and it might be helpful for you to take the quiz on the 4 tendencies. And the link is, so back to, in general, in regards to accountability, there might be times when you're feeling stuck and you really just are trying to move forward, but you really can't. You might want to take a look at your tendency and see how you can help yourself. So, for example, I am more motivated to respond to someone else's expectations. So when I have an accountability partner, that is very helpful to me because I will set up a timeline with that accountability partner, and then I will respond to that expectation. If I were to set the same expectation for myself without having someone else involved, I might be more likely to not do that. So there may also be other types of accountability that you have in place, such as your core book. So your core book can be, a few different things. For me, it's the Bible. For other people, it might be the Quran. For someone else, it might be some writings of someone. But the idea behind the core book is to have something that you can refer to hold yourself accountable. So if it is the Bible, I will hold myself to those truths, and so my action should be in alignment with those. If you hold yourself accountable to a specific book, then you want to be able to hold yourself accountable to those values that are in that book. So that would be considered your core book. So the question would be, do you have a core book? What is your core book? And why have you chosen that to be your core book? If you are going to choose an accountability partner, what kind of accountability partner would you want? Would you want somebody who was very strict and holds you to your word impeccably? Would you have more respect for them if they did that? Or do you want someone who is kind of in the middle? They may be strict with you, but they're also very loving, and so that there's kind of some leeway. Or do you want somebody who's very soft and caring, and that's really all that you need to know, and then you will be motivated to to meet those expectations that you've set for yourself and with them. What else about accountability? I think that's it for right now. Oh, I know. So how do you act when no one's looking is a great question. Or how do you act when someone is looking and watching? So if you're feeling stuck and you know that when you're around somebody else, if somebody else were watching you, how would you act? And if you ask yourself that question, either actually go and do that and go and be in the presence of someone else, or are you more of a private person where you don't want to do things if someone is watching? So for example, I've had these videos to make and I do not feel comfortable when someone is around. But if someone is not around, then I am more apt to make my videos. Sometimes if we find ourselves getting distracted on our own, if you go into the presence of someone else, that may be helpful to you to help you engage more quickly. Setting some parameters might be another way to hold yourself accountable. So let's say that you know that when you have a full day of open time, that you tend to not get very much done because it's kind of like, it's like too big of a box to work in. But if you cut your day into portions and you're able to work within those portions, if that's easier for you, then you can do that. You might even want to set timers for yourself. So I do something called the Pomodoro method, which I will set myself a timer for 30 minutes and I will work in that topic for 30 minutes. And then if I'm not done, I will go and continue and do another 30 minutes. But the real Pomodoro method recommends that you only do something for the 30 minutes and then you go on to the next thing. I don't tend to feel like I can get enough done in that 30 minutes, so I do more of the chunking with the Pomodoro inside of it. And that seems to work for me. Other people's energy also affects my work. If there is negative energy around me or judgmental energy or even someone sleeping, even my dog sometimes can affect my energy. So I have to be very careful. We'll talk more about that in the environment piece. But that can also be a way to keep your accountability in check. If you need to remove yourself to be more accountable to your expectations, then go ahead and do that. Are there people in your life that you can go to hold you accountable? Or would you rather hold yourself accountable?